I built success the wrong way for me, and it cost me everything. My business skyrocketed, it grew, it was amazing. Everybody was clapping their hands. It looked like the success story, but behind the scenes, there was another story playing out. And I want to make sure that more women know what misaligned success looks like, because over the last few years, I have seen more and more women in business being faced and confronted with this, like really feeling the weight of the empire they've built in a way that they cannot sustain, or they're going to face it this year in particular, because we are in a key year in 2026. I want to take you back to 2019. I had just given birth to our third boy in January of 18, and I knew that I wanted to have him home. I knew I didn't want him in daycare. I knew I wanted to have, it was the last child. It was the last chance to actually be a stay-at-home mom and really have every second with him. And I have seen it again and again, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, more and more entrepreneurs that are women are also new moms or expecting moms, and they want to build a different life for their children. And it's so important to know that when you start your business under those circumstances, as a woman, as a mother to be, or a new mother, the common rules and strategies and, success ways of achieving success in your business, they are not actually helping you. So I want to make sure that every woman that is in business and feels like this is hard, this doesn't feel right, I feel like I have to give up too much of my time with my kids, or I feel like I am, running a race I can't win. I feel like I am constantly falling short in every area because I can't really follow the plan, the steps. I can't keep up with it. I want them to know there is a different path, another way of building a business. So I want to give you some words of encouragement, because right now we are at an amazing point in time where as many women as men are starting businesses. But there is an uneven playing field, because even though we have the same, success rate or chance of succeeding, if the circumstances aren't in the way, we are less likely to get funded as women. And we are also 47% more likely to quit or pivot because of life circumstances, like being a mother, than men are. So if you want to build a thriving business as a woman, and especially as a mother, you absolutely can, but you need to know that you are not playing the same game as most of the business owners out there are, and especially not by following the rules made by men for men and not taking into consideration the circumstances you are in, where you can't just pause life and go 100% focus on your business. So what happened for me, and I want to share this not just to like dump my story on you, but to actually allow you to see what does it look like when the world thinks you are having success, but it feels nothing like success in your body. And what does actual success look like? Because what I did in 2019 with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at home that was not thriving in kindergarten was I pivoted my business. The way I started like most people start. I started with what I have, and I did not actually want to be a sole entrepreneur. There was not a great desire. I knew it required a lot. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew I had to learn things because I had zero experience. I didn't know how to build an online presence. I didn't know how to market. I didn't know anything. But I started because I had 3 kids that I wanted to give a different childhood than what most children have. And it wasn't because that's wrong. It wasn't because this is better for everyone, but for me, for what I wanted their childhood to be. I did not want to wake them up at 6 a.m. before they were even ready to open their eyes. I did not want to spend the majority of their waking hours separate and have somebody else see all their milestones before I did. So I started as a reflexologist. and I started as a photographer. I know, weird combo, and it was not at the same time, but like with the same client, but those were the things, those were the skills I had. And this is how I see a lot of, especially women, start with what they had. Try to build something from whatever they're skilled at, or they know, or they had overcome, or they have learned, and that life has shown them. Now, I wasn't wrong. It was not an easy process. And life happening, kids being sick, all of these things when I started my business in 2016 had led me to know I had to do something different. In 2019, I invested in my first course program where I could learn how to do business. And I pivoted my business. I stopped doing the one-on-one because it was impossible with kids home all the time. I had no time to work and actually just, provide the service. So I had to do something different. I invested in a program, in a course where I took my business online. And it was perfect timing with what everyone knows happened in 2020 with the world and everything shutting down. But I didn't learn a lot about creating a business with long-term sustainability. I didn't learn about, different marketing tactics or different way of running your business. And I can see now looking back that whoever I came across in that period of time of like 3 or 4 years, they were schooled in the same way. They were leaning heavily on the masculine dominated way of marketing and running your business. So what it looked like in my life was being home with two kids, 1 year old and a soon to be 4 year old, all the time, 24/7, no sleep, still breastfeeding, tired as fuck, looking like a zombie, trying to market my business, trying to be a present mom, trying to have time to, think a single thought that could actually work in my business, trying to deliver the services I was selling, market, come up with new things, deliver the service, be a mom, no sleep, doing challenge after challenge, doing, course after course, heavily investing out of fear because I learned that if you want it enough, you will always find the money. And oh boy, did I find the money. But I always invested out of fear. I always invested because I thought I had to find the answers out here. And whatever I learned, I applied. And you know what? I was a fucking class A student. I was so great that before we even ended 2019, I had already crossed a huge milestone for monthly revenue. Like more than I made in a year before, more than I ever thought possible. So I quickly became my coach success story. I became, the one that people were looking at, like, how does she do it? And how is she making it work with kids and everything? And you know what? I wasn't. It just looked like it. And I kept that pace of coming up with new stuff, marketing it, launching it, being the one who did everything in my business, being there with my kids day and night, and also tending to my clients and growing my business. And this is how most people do business, including women, especially following the standard rules, especially if they do follow this is how I achieve success, and this is how you can do it too. You will crash. As a mom, you will absolutely crash if that is the way you're building your business. And I want nothing more for you but than to find a way where you thrive. So I fell, and I fell hard. I lost all confidence in me, in what I could do, in my ability to attract people, in my ability to handle money. And I really felt like a bad mom, let alone a partner. Like, you haven't even heard me mention my boyfriend in all of this because he was non-existent. It was just like, here, take care of the kids for a moment because I've had them all day, and then I can be online, and then I can do this, and then I can make this post, and then I can send this email, and then I can do this live, and then I can do this session or this masterclass. I would be binging programs and courses and things to learn and webinars every night while tucking in children or when they were asleep. I had a pivotal moment. I had registered for a 10-day challenge, and this was hardcore do energy. And every day, every contestant were encouraged to share what they have done and how much money they have made that day. So it was a day-to-day, assessment of, have you done enough? None of the other people in that challenge were in my shoes. None of them were stay-at-home moms. None of them had two kids home. None of them had as young kids as I did. I tried to keep up. One night, I think 4 days into this challenge, I was standing 2 a.m., tired as hell, barely able to keep my eyes open. My body had shut completely down. So I was bent over a table because I was trying to write the things I needed to say and do. At that moment, my boyfriend asked me, what are you doing? He knew that what I invested in, but he did not understand what the fuck I was doing at 2 a.m. with a back that was thrown and I couldn't even stand up and still pushing. So I looked myself in the mirror and I remember saying to myself, I couldn't recognize myself. If this is success, I don't want it. And I stopped. I walked away. Nothing I did from that point on worked because all I knew was how to do it the masculine way. All I knew was how to work harder. All I knew was how to run faster. I don't know if you have been around, so you have tried some of these marketing ways, or you can remember that this was a thing. But around that time, most of the business advice was get people into DMs and have conversations with them so you can really persuade them. Or the one that I never really liked, but so many people taught and did, go into groups that are relevant, find 50 people, add them as friends so they can become your prospects. It was all about doing. There was no feminine energy. There was no alignment. There was no, aligned timing. It was just force. It was force and it was hard work. And I still see those ways of doing business and those methods preached by a lot of big business people, especially men. Everyone can do it for a period of time. The more your circumstances are not aligned to it, the shorter that period of time is, but everyone can do it. I did it to perfection, but I couldn't do it anymore. And I have seen last year in 2025, I have seen so many women becoming moms or being, planning to become moms. So they really start to think differently. And what they have all said when they have built their business in this way, where they constantly have to be in output energy, in doing mode, that either they quit, they can't do it, they can't seem to have enough hours a day or capacity or energy to actually, run their business the way they did before. So they quit or they have to pivot. I would love for more women to start the right way, quote unquote, the way that is right for them, aligned for them, because it's not success if it's costing you your sanity, your relationship, your joy, your presence, or anything that is life right now. The biggest lesson this taught me, and I fell fucking hard. It took me years to get up, where I actually had to decide if I wanted to get up again and just give up completely. But the biggest takeaway for me was, it doesn't matter if you reach the goal at all. It's not the point. The point is not reaching the goal. The point is how you get there and who you become along the way, what the experience is like. Do you know these people when they're there are two kinds of people, right? One, if they're going anywhere, one is just so focused on getting there, and the other one is enjoying the ride and seeing things that the other person aren't even seeing. One is having experiences and epiphanies and having a good time. They're still getting there, but they are present in the journey, and they are taking the journey in a way that actually feels good too. Not comfortable necessarily, but good. And that is the whole point. Because you don't know if you are going to reach the goal. So either way, either if you are or you aren't, you want to make sure that you get there in a way that doesn't break you, that, if you get there and you are too exhausted to even enjoy it, or if you are too stressed out to even feel the joy of being there, what's the point? So the second time around, because I didn't give up, I built my business. I made sure I built it in a way that was 100% me. That also meant that everywhere I had been told you can't do it like this or you have to do it like that, everywhere I'd been told I had to change or be something different or tone things down or whatever, not being me, I really challenged it. And there is no way you can compare those two ways of running a business. Like it's day and night. And that is really what more and more women are waking up to. This knowing that if I'm meant to do this, I'm meant to do it as me. And they are leaning into what is 100% them. They are not just, following strategies or incorporating templates or success models or anything just because somebody else is saying this is how you do it. But we still have a long way to go. And I want you to ask yourself, is there any part of my business that doesn't feel good? Is there any part of showing up in it, marketing it, delivering my services, anything, any strategy, any plan, any whatever that doesn't feel good? Because let me ask you then, why do you keep doing it? Do you think you just have to suck it up for a little longer and then it will feel great? Or are you planning on doing it forever while it doesn't feel good? Because it doesn't really sound like a good plan to me. The way you are meant to do business as a woman is with your cyclical energy, where you fully tap into the fucking powerhouse you are when you are nourished, when you are receptive, when you are aligned to your energy, your core, your essence, your path, and taking steps as you. Not because somebody else is telling you have to take this step. Not because they're forcing you or telling you to take it at a specific pace, but as you. And if you could look up along the way and actually enjoy the ride and see how far you've come and where you are right now and how magical it is, that would be great. Because what the statistics also show is that not only does an equal amount of women start businesses right now as men, we are also fucking crushing it when we fully do it in the way that's right for us. There are still circumstances that are against us, or where you can say it's not even playing field, it's not balanced. The funding, the woman is home with a child, not so much the man. It's not an even playing ground, but when you don't try to play the game as something you are not, suddenly the odds are in your favor. And if you look at the statistics, you will actually see that women are becoming a safer bet when starting a business. We have higher success rates and ROI than men in so many of the metrics when you look at it across the whole board. That's fucking awesome. But not as men. Not playing a game not built for us. Not using our energy in a way that isn't right for us. Not trying to keep up with the plan when the circumstances are not aligned with the plan. It doesn't matter if you are a mom. It doesn't matter if you have PMS 3 days every month. It doesn't matter if you're fucking moody around your period. It doesn't matter, because you are not playing the output of equal energy every day. Do the same, deliver the same, work harder. You are working smarter. You know what? They should be fucking scared. I just saw a video of women crushing it in the gym, and there were a lot of men that couldn't keep up. And it really made me realize that a lot of the territory that were male dominated before, a lot of the areas where men surpassed us like by far, it's not like that anymore. So if you can really tap into your feminine power, not the woo-woo, I'm just leaning back in the bubble bath and waiting for the millions to roll. Not that one. We're not doing that. That's not pure feminine energy. That's not real. It's imaginary. But working with your energy, your strengths, your power, your essence, your feelings, your emotions, your intuitions, the flow, everything. Honey, you are unstoppable if you do that. And I want more women to do that. I am so for that. To see more women succeed and fucking enjoy it. To succeed in ways that others have said you can't do it like that. To succeed doing things that people have felt like or believed, nope, doesn't work. If you are like that, if you say it like that, if you look like that, if you do like that, if you only show up like that, it won't happen. Watch us. But you need to ask yourself, where am I trying to run my business as a man or as a single woman who has all the time in the world or as anything that is not me? Because you will find the key right there to having a thriving business.